21 years ago today, Americans spent the day wondering what would happen next after terrorists crashed planes into the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and a field in Pennsylvania just one day prior. Some 3,000 people were killed on September 11, 2001. The events of that day changed our lives forever, and we continue to remember today. In Chattanooga, McCallie students launched a 9/11 website to share perspectives from around the world. Mary Frances Hoots has that story.
The students weren't even alive when this happened. They've learned so much about the weight of that day just by talking in depth to everyday people. Friday really hit home for most students after placing almost 3,000 flags outside their chapel to represent the lives lost that day.
Before, it was just a story. It was something that happened and I couldn't conceptualize it. There were two buildings that used to be there and now they weren't. And now it's like 3,000 people are dead and there's all these stories behind it.
Everyone has their stories of how 9/11 unfolded.
This just in, you are looking at obviously a very disturbing live shot there. That is the World Trade Center.
But for children born after 2001, they have to learn secondhand. Dr. Richey, the AP U.S. history teacher at McCallie, is helping those students understand the significance of that day in our country.
The stories did not need to be someone who was in New York City or at the Pentagon or what have you, but just everyday people's perspectives.
For years, Dr. Richey has asked his students to interview someone about 9/11 and write a paper on it. Last year, Dr. Richey and his students launched a website with 20 different stories. Since, they have released one a week and have 71 total on the site.
It's been great to hear from alums and from parents that how much they've enjoyed reading these stories.
Several students have said the interviews they have done has made the day more real for them.
She remembered seeing the second tower get hit. She was there, she was watching it on TV. She went home crying to her parents, and I got to experience all of this secondhand as she's telling it to me. And then I experienced it again when I wrote it down on my computer, and I was crying a little bit. It was horrifying.
Vivian Valanki is the editor of the site. He's read pretty much all the stories on there and says it's interesting hearing all the perspectives.
People had a lot of different reactions. Some of them might be more horrific and heavy, and some almost felt unaffected. But it still was something that played on people's minds.
We have information on our website and inside our app on where to find the 9/11 Project website or their Instagram page. In Chattanooga, Mary Frances Hoots, Local 3 News.